All right, Chem 1030 students, we are on week 5, so let's talk about what's going on. I'm going to the content. Remember that you should have already signed up for your midterm. We're getting closer, so keep an eye on that. We're down here on week 5, and you should be getting used to the structure of this, but let me remind you how this works. When I click on week 5, which is in Module 2 has an overview, week 4, week 5, 6, 7, and 8. And as I look down there, we're in week 5, so I'm clicking on week 5, and then it opens up a week 5 overview, a section for lecture, a section for lab. And so within the week 5, I've got those 3 sections. And as I click on week 5 over here on the right, it has opened up those sections a little bit. I get more detail the more that I click on. There's my overview. This is my lecture section, but each of these are a folder that I can open up further. And then this is my lab section. And again, each of these are a folder I can open up further. So as I come over back to week 5, I'm looking at the overview. You found the overview because you found this video. There is the written overview with the information about what you're doing this week. You are doing a memorization quiz that's a tie back to chapter 3, so we're wrapping that up. In lecture, you're working on chapter 5, and you have the pre-lecture assignment. You've got guided notes and slides to look at as you go through the textbook. There is a post-lecture assignment and a post-lecture adaptive follow-up. All of those are at Pearson. And then for lab, you are working on experiment 4. You are following up with experiment 3 that we did last week and doing a post-lab on it. And you are working a pre-lab assignment for experiment 5. This pre-lab assignment for experiment 5 is directly related to the lecture material for chapter 5. So do make sure that you have looked through the lecture material before you try to answer these questions. You're not doing experiment 5 this week, you're doing experiment 4, which is based on last week's lecture material. So that's our overview. Let me come back here to week 5. Up here at the top, I can get to levels that way. So I'm on the week 5 level. Again, we looked at the overview where you're seeing this video. If I go to the lecture section, again, it opens up. There's a memorization quiz, the pre-lecture, the guided lecture notes, the post-lecture, the post-lecture adaptive follow-up. And all of those are over here. And again, as I click on them on the left, it opens them up a little bit more. So I'm going to click on the memorization quiz. We're right here on lecture, clicking on the memorization quiz. Remember those polyatomic ions from a few weeks ago? Not this week, not last week. I think it was last week, but it might be 2 weeks ago by the time you're seeing this. Memorize those. Quiz yourself on it. Use flashcards if you need to. Know how to spell the names of the polyatomic ions. Know how to write the formulas and write the formulas with the names and know all the subscripts and all the superscripts. This quiz is going to go very fast. You don't have time to look them all up, and you can't look them all up because that's cheating. So don't look them all up. Quiz yourself over and over so that you can complete this quiz very quickly. So this is just a quick quiz on those polyatomic ions. So get that taken care of. It's not due till the 25th. Do it as soon as you can, get it out of the way. So your pre-lecture assignment, as I click on this, is to go to the Pearson Mastering Chemistry website, and you're going to be working on one of the dynamic study modules for the chapter 5. So you want to do this. This is a gauge of how much you already know, so that it knows how many questions to give you at the end. So, and this will help you review things that you already know. There is your guided lecture notes, slides, and videos. Again, you have a Word document or a PDF document. These two are the same. You've got a slides, and then you've got a folder with your videos. Right here, I do see the videos all listed. If I come over here to the left, I'm right here, and I go ahead and click on that folder with the lecture videos. It gives me a little bit more information about each. It gives me the title of each. So very short videos from the chapter. Professor Molish has made these going over highlights, to help you learn the material. And then there's our post-lecture assignment and the post-lecture adaptive follow-up. Hopefully you're getting, again, familiar with the format. There is the assignment where you work all the problems on the material you just learned. And now let's talk about lab. Again, with lab, we have 3 parts to it. We have the experiment we're doing this week, which is experiment 4. We have the pre-lab for the experiment we're doing next week, which is experiment 5. And we have the post-lab from the experiment we did last week, which was experiment 3. And so you want to make sure that for experiment 4 that you're working on, you're in the process of turning in those pre-labs. And as soon as those get graded, we turn on the correction video. It's hidden for you right now, so that you can come and check your corrections. And you want to look at those carefully because that's the that's the experiment that you're working on. So you want to make sure that you get everything corrected. And so there is a video for experiment 4. Again, if I click on it over here, it opens it up with a little bit more detail. There's the video, and then there is your lab report that's due. And as I click on this, you download it. It has attached to it a file. You download a PDF. You're going to be writing on that, and that's what you turn in for your experiment 4 lab report. All right, so that's experiment 4. After you have studied the material in chapter 5, you're going to do the pre-lab for experiment 5. It goes with chapter 5 material. So energy changes, chemical and physical changes, and energy changes. And so you've got an overview, you've got either a Word or a PDF document. And then as I click on this box for my pre-lab assignment, there is an attachment. I download the attachment, I write on it, I upload the attachment. And then following up from experiment 3, which was nomenclature, all right, when you're turning in experiment 3 this week as I'm making this, once we get it graded and back to you, the corrections video will go live, so you'll be able to look at that, see what you missed. Please do ask if you have any questions about the experiment that you don't understand yet. And then once you finish reviewing your corrections, you will take the chemical nomenclature quiz, the experiment 3 post-lab quiz, where you will be naming chemical compounds as well as writing formulas. You'll be looking at ions, naming ions, charges on ions, all that good stuff that you did in experiment 3. And so that wraps up this week. And again, we're moving right along. Hopefully you're falling into that pattern, but please don't hesitate to post on the discussion board or shoot us an email if you have questions.